Hey everybody, it's Michael from Replica Airguns with another Replica Airguns tabletop video. Again, not really on the table, but this is just such a big gun. To get it on my table and get my camera up high enough, it just doesn't work. So it'd be all zoomed in. You wouldn't really see the whole gun. So when I show you around the gun, I'll bring it up closer, but you can see the whole gun here. I'll be talking about it. There's not going to be as many cuts and stuff, so you might hear a few little bobbles because I'm basically, as I get older, I need my cheat sheets. I've always used cheat sheets, but they certainly come in handy as the brain doesn't remember all the details as clearly. So we're going to read off of this because that way I'll make sure I don't forget anything. I get all the information, the correct information to you guys. Now, when I did the preview video, I failed to see the 400 written right on the box, which I'll show you in a bit. This is the BARRA 400, and technically it's the 400e. It even says it right on here, 400e. I think I did discover that partway through that video, but that's what it's called. Okay, I'm not sure why they called it 400. Really weird naming convention, but I think they could have figured out something a little bit better than that. But that's okay. That really doesn't matter. The name is less important than, how it looks, how it's built, how it performs. All that's way more important. If you are interested in this product, we do have it in our Canada store, replicaairguns.ca. I don't believe we have it in the US store just yet, but we may have it down the road. So you can always check out replicaairguns.us later on to see if it's there. I'll put links in the description if you're interested in this product. Haven't shot it yet, so stay posted for that video. I will be doing that field test shooting video hopefully pretty soon because I do want to test this out. I'm really excited to test out this gun. Never shot an AEG styled 4.5mm BB rifle, so that's going to be cool. And let's just get right into the specifications. Again, it's a 4.5mm BB rifle. It's an AEG and it's not 6mm, so that's really cool. It is an AEG powered, so automatic electric gun. It uses Dean's plugs types batteries, so keep that in mind. I'll show you that in a second. But you're going to need a Dean's plug, and the battery is going to have to be something fairly compact because there's not a bad amount of room in here, but it's not huge, so it's going to have to be a shorter, possibly stockier battery. You'll see when I open this up what I'm talking about. And again, now this gun, when you do have a fully charged battery, I guess it depends what kind of battery you have in here, it'll shoot around 1,000 shots per charge. So if you have a couple batteries, 2,000 rounds, you're going to get a lot of fun, going to go through a lot of ammunition. Basically, you get the speed loader, which I'll show you, 50 rounds in the mag, so you're just going to pop those in there. You're going to be loading a lot of mags when you're shooting this gun if you're shooting it in full auto, but that's still a ton of fun. You got to have some downtime to just catch your breath every once in a while, so while you're reloading, you can do that. It's all metal, airsoft, and has that, well, let me just talk about the mag real quick here. So it has an all metal, this is a little tough to get out, but it's a little tight. There. It's easier if you use that. I mean, this is a magazine release, but it's also got one on this side, and I find the thumb one is a little easier. But you'll notice it's basically an AEG style metal magazine, right? And it's spring fed, so you don't have the winder, so it's not a high capacity. It's sort of a mid capacity, 550 round, but pretty cool, all metal, not too heavy, but it's just a stamped metal, right? And it does shoot in both semi and full auto. And it shoots up to 410 FPS with 500 rounds per minute in full auto mode. Now, most AEGs I think are capable of more than that, so we'll see. I haven't really tested it out. I don't know. But I think if you have a higher capacity battery, like if you can jam an 11 volt in here instead of a 7, it's going to cycle a lot quicker. So that's going to cycle, maybe as much as 30% more. So from, say, 550 to closer to 900 rounds per minute. That's definitely an improvement. So we'll see if I can get an 11 volt battery and use it in this one. We'll see how that works. It's an almost all metal build, CNC machined aluminum handguards and receiver. So the handguard and receiver, all CNC machined. So this is a nice quality gun. Definitely, there's very little plastic in it whatsoever. It comes in at 7.5 pounds or 3.4 kilograms. Total length is 42.25 inches or 1,073 millimeters. Has a 19-inch barrel, which is 482 millimeters. It's non-rifled, of course. It does come with these flip-up sights. They're just they're not spring flip-up, they're just friction flip-up, but they're pretty tight, so they're not going to flop around on you. And you have the Picatinny rails top. You've got M-lock on the sides here, which I'll show you, sides and bottom. So if you want to add additional hardware, You can using an M-LOK system, and it has the custom, its own proprietary stock. So I don't believe you can add an AR stock on here. It does look very AR-ish, so maybe, but it does have its own stock. So that's something that would be interesting to find out. Maybe I'll try it, see if I can get an AR one on there. I'll have to play around with it, but if I can, maybe I'll put it in the notes. But it's 6 position, and you have your battery in the back here too. So yeah, that's something you gotta have to consider, is you're gonna have to put a battery in here. So an AR stock may not have that option. So you might just want to keep that one on there, go with it, nothing wrong with it. And you have the textured AR pistol grip style. I don't think it's, you know, removable, and well, probably removable, but I don't believe you can put an AR grip on here. It doesn't mention it anywhere. And you have the working charging handle, which opens up the dust cover, right? I don't believe there's any hop-up. There is no mention of hop-up in here. That would be kind of nice, but I don't know how much that's going to work with a steel BB, if it's even something that matters. It's traditionally not something that you usually do with steel BBs. And again, ambidextrous selector switches. So you can see I'm working it on the other side, but you've got it on both. So you got safe, semi, and full auto. Very cool. And the speed loader's included. Let's take a look at the speed loader. Just a basic plastic speed loader, but it's made for that magazine. You get your manual, of course, right? I'm not going to go through it. And the box, we'll just take a quick look, see what it looks like, right? If you want to freeze the frame and read some of the stuff, you can. Okay, pretty simple on the front, pretty simple on the back. Okay, and it does show right here, it's got some specifications as well on the side there, right? So we've got, what is it? Magazine 50 rounds, rate of fire, 550 RPM, 410 FPS, 177 caliber steel BBs, well, actually 4.5 millimeters, same thing, fully automatic and electric. So that's the box, all that good stuff. And it is, again, the sort of a classic M4 AR style, similar but not totally the same. There's no forward assist. It is a little different, but it is a very similar shape. Same type of magazine as an AR, so it's very close. It's the closest thing I can see to it would be an AR. And it's made in Taiwan. All right. So we're going to show you around this gun real quick here. It is, so all metal. One thing that I didn't mention is you've got this sort of low sight here, which is fiber optic, and then the pop-up sight, right, which you got a post in the front. And on the back, you have the fiber optic, so you can keep your pop-up sights down, low profile, and then you can pop it up, and then you get the peep sight. So it just depends on how maybe the style of shooting you're doing. If you're doing more accurate or more action shooting, you might want to do the pop-up sights. For accuracy, you might want to use the fiber optic ones there that are more low profile. Right, so you got your bolt cover, right, that pops open, which is nice. Got your magazine release, selector switch, branding there, your M-LOK on the handguard, right? And then this actually does unscrew. Inside, you can see there's an inner barrel. So if I unscrew this, you'll see the inner barrel. It takes a lot of threading. Like, I'm not going to do it because it takes quite a while to get it off. And then to thread it back on also takes a little bit. But I suppose you could change it and put a different suppressor on there, as long as the threading was the same. Again, you have your rear stock, which is 6 positions. And then, get this here. A little tight. It's good that it's tight because you don't want it falling off. So then you have your Dean's connector, okay, in the tube there. So Dean's connector, that's that one there. And you got quite a bit of room in here for a battery. So you'd probably want a short, stubby battery to go in there. And then when you pull this out, you have enough cable that you're not gonna, you gotta keep that in mind that you don't pinch the cable when you're adjusting the stock. Okay, so there's that. Did I show you the other one? Other side? I haven't shown you the other side yet, have I? Take a look at the other side. So there's your other selector switch. There's your, basically, there's the bolt release doesn't work because it's not really functional, but you do have the magazine release here, and that one works better in my opinion. Okay. Pretty much a lot the same here, not a lot of markings on this side other than the BARRA 400e and the caliber, okay? So not too bad looking gun, really. It's actually getting heavy holding it here. It's got some good weight to it, but we'll keep holding it because you got to see this. We'll see if we can just kind of hold it there. All right, so let's get into some of the pros and the cons. No CO2 required, so cost to shoot is going to be a lot less. That's kind of cool. Like, you know, just charge those batteries up. Once you buy those batteries once, might be a little more than, you know, a bunch of CO2 initially with the charger and everything. But once you got it, you can recharge that thing, you know, hundreds, thousands of times. And very consistent velocity. So we don't have that CO2 cool down, especially on a colder environment. AEGs are going to be consistent because we're dealing with just compressed air from the spring. So the battery basically makes that motor pull the internal spring system back. That spring compresses the air, pushes the BB down the barrel. That isn't going to change. Doesn't matter how many shots you're doing per minute. It's always going to be very consistent. So that's cool. And you have the option to shoot it in semi or full auto, which is cool. I think I'll probably be shooting this one in full auto most of the time. And it's pretty much an almost all metal construction. The sights aren't metal. The receiver, the grip, the forward rail, pistol handguard, sorry, is all metal. The magazine is metal. The basically the rear stock is plastic. So there is plastic, but like most of the stuff on here is metal. I think the trigger might be plastic. It's possible. It's hard to tell, but mostly metal everywhere. So that's really cool. Lots of rail options again for adding. You've got the top rail, which is the most important one. It's all ready to go. You can get some M-LOK components and put that on there and add other rails using M-LOK system and put other hardware on there if you want. And the flip-up sights use that dual mode. So when they're flipped down, you've got the fiber optics. When they're flipped up, you've got the peep sight. I think that's really cool. I haven't seen that on too many guns. It's kind of neat. Got that 6-position adjustable rear stock. You have that nice high capacity, well, medium capacity 50-round magazine, but it's more than, for instance, the Crosman series, which is 25 rounds, so double the capacity. And you got the speed loader if you need to, you know, load that up. Might want to get some more magazines. And again, there's 1,000 shots per battery charge, of course, depending on the battery you're using. Again, it comes with that speed loader. You're going to need that. Lots of working parts, including the charging handle, dust cover, magazine release, and selector switch. And again, that selector switch is ambidextrous, which is nice. Some cons, no blowback operation. So there's no, you know, this thing isn't going to, well, you will have the motor that's racking that spring back and forth. That'll vibrate the gun a little bit, but it doesn't actually have a blowback operation. So it'll be similar to an AEG airsoft rifle. And it does not come with a battery. I didn't mention that at all. You notice I didn't show you a battery. It doesn't come with one. So you're going to have to source out a battery. So am I. I was looking on our site to try and find a compatible battery. And so I got to talk to the boys and see what their suggestion is, because there's a few there with Dean's connectors and different voltages and things, but I want to make sure the one I get fits. So hopefully we'll get the right one, because the one that was in the list, the drop-down list for this product, it didn't have a Dean's connector. So I'm sure you could swap that out, but you might as well get the right battery with the right connector right from the get-go. So let's see if we can figure that out for you guys, get the right one in there. And there's no red dot included with this version, but the iron sights are well thought out. Like that's a really neat thought out system with the low profile, high profile pop-up sights. That's kind of neat. Again, I haven't seen that too often. So if you're interested in this gun, it is in our Canada store. Link in the description. If you're interested in other products, again, Airguns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, blank guns, and other accessories, check out replicairguns.ca and replicairguns.us. Of course, the CA is for Canada, the US is for US, and the .com is our blog. So we've got basically those 3 websites, depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking for information, go to .com. If you're looking for products to buy, go to the .ca for Canada, the .us for the US. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. Also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.